Coming up, some of the free lockers aren't so free anymore at Universal Orlando, and we are going to head out to Universal for some plant-based food. I know, sounds delicious. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Universal edition of the Diz Unplugged. This is episode 201 of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. The Diz Unplugged Universal Edition is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Universal vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. I am your host, Craig Williams. Today, I'm joined alongside by my co-host, Ryan Clavin, a.k.a. Ryan the Ryno Clavin.
Okay.
So
sounds very wrestler-esque.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that stick. So everyone, now that when we're like in the parks and stuff, people will be like, "It's the Ryno."
The Ryno.
Yeah.
There is only one.
Yeah, and there should only be one. But welcome to this week's big blowout, episode 201. I told you that we were going to have our big, massive show this week, celebrating over 200 episodes of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. And unfortunately, once again, we just did not bother planning. So
I didn't remember until we started recording.
Yep. Well, I kept thinking about it all week. I was like, what could I come up with that's really good? What can I come up with that's big? Well, actually, the good and bad news is we are going to be going on hiatus for the holidays a little bit sooner than we expected. Not this week. This isn't the last show of the year. That actual final show will be next week. It will be, I don't know what the exact date on that is. I think the 6 plus 7 is 13th. So the 13th will be our final show of the year for this one. So that episode 202 will go out on a big bang with that one. So yeah, this one's just going to be your standard boring episode. I know, yawn, but it's going to be a good one. Still, we have a engaging discussion coming up here to kick off the show, and then after that we are going to jump into our in the park dining review of some plant-based food options. So Universal's making a push to add more plant-based food options onto their menus. So after months of ignoring it and saying, you know what, no, the meat eaters need to survive. The plant eaters need to starve off like the dinosaurs, get burned up, all that. We're finally going to come around and give them their fair dues. So we're going to do that in just a little bit. But yeah, I mentioned it on the top of the show. We have to talk about this, the current locker situation that is going on at Universal Orlando.
Rama.
So Ryno, did you see this? Did you hear about this?
I did, yeah. Well, somebody on Twitter tagged us in a tweet. That's how I first got word, but you probably heard from others, that they're starting to charge $2 for a locker rental on the ride.
Yeah.
Is it for all or just the larger ones?
For the large lockers. So let's start at the very beginning for those of you out there who aren't as common with Universal, maybe planning that first trip, not very aware of it, never had to deal with lockers, anything like that. But so Universal Orlando is very restrictive with their rides in terms of what you can bring onto the actual attraction. So I know for those of you out there who go to Walt Disney World all the time, Disneyland, you're used to being able to bring your giant, I believe that was my phone, I apologize for that. If you go to the Disney parks, you're probably used to be able to bring the largest backpack in the world that you can possibly even carry around all day with any attachments, anything like that, and you can keep it with you on every single ride.
Even the upside down ones, which is crazy, isn't it?
It is to think about in that way, but that's just how Disney parks work. So a lot of people are used to that. They go to Universal for the first time, and they go up to a marquee attraction like the Incredible Hulk, Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, and they say, well, why can't I take my bag with me? And on some rides, it makes a lot of sense why you can't take your bags with you, especially an attraction like Forbidden Journey. I very open about my time there and talking about it. Some of the most frustrating engaging moments with guests was when they would make it all the way past the lockers, past every checkpoint that they would go through, and make it up to the point where they were about to sit down on their bench, and they made it all the way onto the belt, and then they open up their coat and they have a backpack strapped to their front, and you have to pull them off. And well, why can't I take this on? Well,
You
first
tilt
off,
all the way backwards. Your stuff's going to slide right out of you.
yeah, it's like, first off, oh, it's on your front. I'm not going to get the harness down correctly.
Yeah.
With that way. Okay, I'll put it on my back. Well, you're not going to fit in then, and I'm not going to be able to get it on. Okay, well, why can't I just set it on the floor? Well, this floor is actually going to disappear, and you're going to lift up in the air, so you're not going to have your stuff. And some people, like, once they never went on the attraction, so they didn't really know what it was like. I'm like,
Right.
oh, okay, I understand now. Fine. Others just, no. I want to keep it with me. I don't understand this. So it's like, I've been on that frustrating end to it. So luckily with like metal detectors at some of the bigger attractions and stuff, it's made it an actually smoother process, because now it's like, okay, well, you're not going to make it through the metal detectors with anything at all, bags, phones, anything like that. So you have to use the lockers. So all the attractions where you have to use free lockers, they were free because you can't carry anything on the rides because of the type of ride or restraint system. It doesn't matter what reason why.
Your pockets had to be empty, so it was like nothing in the pockets, nothing on the rides.
Yeah, well, and that's even the next level, because there's some attractions where you'd like Forbidden Journey. They do have you can keep stuff in your pockets for the attraction, or you can use the little pull-down compartment on the back of the bench that everyone, well,
the secret.
Because anyone who puts their stuff in there usually forgets it on the way out. So a lot of situations, just easier to keep stuff in your pockets. But an attraction like that, it's like, okay, well, you can still keep your phone with you, but something like the Hulk, Dragon Challenge when that was still there, Rip Ride Rocket, those you have to put everything in. Mummy's another one where it's like you can still keep your phone with you. Men in Black's the same way, just no big bags, anything like that. But so yeah, if you had to put your bag in a locker, it was free. All the lockers were the same size. They're around, I believe, 11 inches tall by maybe like 10 inches wide, and then I'd say a good foot and a half deep, maybe a little bit less than that, but decent big size lockers. And then, it's, if you didn't use it before, a lot of the old methods with the lockers, thumbprint never worked. If you were smart, you would wait to input your numbers and make your lives a lot easier. But I'm not going into a whole how to use Universal's crappy lockers. Technically not Universal's, Smart Cart's crappy locker system that's just utilized by Universal. Anyways, Universal started making changes to the locker systems, and I can't remember how many months ago it was, but a new type of locker popped up that was a lot smaller, like more post office size mailbox. We're talking maybe
they're a little bigger than that.
Yeah, a little bit bigger, but we're talking height on it no more than 6 inches. I would say probably around like 5 inches in terms of height on those lockers.
I can't remember. I mean, I've used one before, but now I'm questioning whether I used a larger one or a smaller one. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, the new small ones, those, I would say they're probably about 6 inches tall. They're the same width as the old lockers, and they're the same depth. It's just what it essentially is, they've taken like 2 large lockers and they cut it in half and made 2 small lockers instead. So those are currently now still free. Like Men in Black has them, and
those are small.
Yeah.
They are small. Yeah, I see what you're saying with they're like the mailbox. I'd say they're like a little, like if you've ever had a post office box, I'd say it's twice the length of a post office box, but still the same height like you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are lots more lockers are able to be added because of it. But however, now they still do have large lockers available to be used, but now the large ones, if you have to utilize them, they are going to cost $2, whereas the small lockers are currently free. And that's obviously caused a little bit of an outcry because, well, it's now like a little bit of a punishment for like, oh, I had a bigger bag and I need a bigger locker, but now I'm stuck paying money because of what I brought to the park.
This bothers me a little bit because it makes it almost seem like there's an issue with backpacks. And I do understand in this day and age with security and all that stuff, I will still say that Universal has better security system in place than Disney because of everybody goes through an x-ray machine and metal detectors. So there's no hiding anything on your body or whatever. But they're making it out to be like strollers aren't the real problem in the park. Backpacks are. And I'm thinking like this wasn't at Universal, but it was at Disney. But I was just like, man, I couldn't move in a store one day because it was like strollers, ECV, all this stuff. Nobody's backpack was hitting me, and now I feel like, I mean, I don't know. Why are people being penalized for bringing a backpack to the park? I'm somebody who brings a backpack every single time. You know that it rains here. I don't want my camera to get wet.
Yeah, and I mean, but usually, like I will say, if we brought our good backpacks that carry our cameras and multiple lenses, those will not fit in these lockers. However, usually when I bring that gear, I'm not trying to go on attractions and stuff. I'm usually there just for like photography or video stuff purposes. So, you know, it's like if I bring that, I'm not going to be going on a lot of rides anyways, but they can fit. When I bring like I have a drawstring backpack. I know that it would fit in there perfectly. My
backpack, my regular backpack can fit in there.
Yeah, and like your Rocco's would. Yeah. I know that I don't have the refillable popcorn bucket or anything. I know I've read on the pass holder page that people are, if you take the lid off, people are able to get their popcorn buckets in as well as like their refillable cups. But obviously those have to go in sideways. Yeah. So you have to pour out your drink.
Yeah, and if you have residue in it, it's still it might get in the locker too.
So there's ways to make these work. I think this is just from working at Forbidden Journey again. I cannot tell you the amount of people who did come in who needed the bigger, like they need bigger lockers. We never had small lockers at Forbidden Journey. We only ever had the large ones. And I cannot tell you how many times an hour that we would get people who had a bag so big that they wouldn't even be able to get it in the large lockers. And then that would create the next drama of, okay, well, what do you do with the bag? If you leave it behind in a locker room or anywhere else, we're going to find it. And even if we know it's that person's, we still have to go through our protocol of calling security. Security comes, picks it up, takes it to the front of the park, and then they can retrieve it later. It's a headache. So or the other option is you do a baggage swap where, people, you don't have to have a little kid or anything like that just so you can do a rider switch. You can make rider switches happen if it's for large bags, large plushes that you may have wanted a carnival game, or even if you have an older kid who's afraid to go on something or can't go on something because they get sick. Universal comes up with options to make everyone able to experience what they want and can to experience. The issues when you get into, I brought this big Hukin bag that can't fit in a locker and I'm all by myself. Then you have to deal with that. But that didn't happen. I mean, it happened a little regularly, but not an everyday occurrence. And then there's even bigger lockers out at the front of the park that you can rent for all day, but it costs money. But yeah, it's kind of crappy, in my opinion. Like
there must be like an issue or something like that, or maybe they're just like it's a money grab or something, I guess. But it's like I can see in this picture I googled new lockers at the Mummy Universal Studios Florida. There is a group of two, and essentially it was a fanny pack going in the larger locker. And I'm like, okay, you don't need that locker. You need the small locker. And I'm like, so are people getting penalized? Like, is it trying to get people to be like, okay, well, there's not enough of the space when people need it, so we need to charge for it. And I'm like, well, who loses out on that? The people who need the space lose out on that, not the ones who don't. So it's, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it because if the option was like, okay, take the bag on with you, it's 2018. The average person has stuff in their pocket, on like the Hulk, whatever. I get that you're saying the smaller ones are free, but I want to bring a camera, take pictures of my family. Like there's no scenario I'm there with my family without my camera, and like my camera could probably fit in it, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, feels very restrictive, and it's just a shame because I feel like they were able to add more lockers because they got rid of how many big ones there were. Okay, you have long locker lines. You have a lot of, and you have a lot during busier times when all the lockers would fill up. I can't tell you how many times I had to stand in Forbidden Journey's locker room and just like shaking my head at people. Same thing at Dragon Challenge.
Get out of here.
Well, it's like
one person in the party can carry everything.
Well, it's that, but then they get up to the lockers and they're like, they're all gone. They're all gone. They're all gone. And everyone, and I'm like, yeah, you have to wait till someone gets back. And there was times where we'd be at the bottom of the stairs, like begging people, like, before you look in the gift shop, please go get your crap out of your lockers because we need those lockers. So I understand that the smaller lockers did help in terms of that, of not running out of lockers because you're adding extra ones. But it's like, maybe add an extra team member being like, okay, you get a big locker. You have a fanny pack,
somebody
one
that
phone.
can sort them.
You get a small locker. Go through that method. Sort them out. And because now I feel like it is not, I'm never going to say it's discrimination, but it is making me want to never carry a big backpack anymore in case I go to Universal and want to ride this big ride.
Oh, guest starring Pete Werner in this episode.
Oh, it's all good. Hey, Pete Werner in the house.
I believe actually the releasing date of this episode is Pete's birthday.
It is.
So happy birthday, Pete.
Happy birthday, Pete.
I'm just thinking, you brought it up before the show. We were talking about this, that our friends with like dietary restrictions, like I think about it, like you have said they could use a medical locker, but we have one friend, Ashley, who has one of her kids has some pretty severe allergy related stuff. But then like I think about Katrina, like what if she wants to bring a bag with like the snacks and stuff? But I don't know. Like sometimes people need a backpack. I don't think there's anything wrong with a backpack. People ask what's in it all the time for me. My rain jacket, the hand sanitizer wipes, and like stuff like that. So it's not like I'm being excessive with what I bring. It's just I don't want to get wet, and like I want to have a backup, especially this time of year where it's like hot in the afternoon but cool at night. I don't want to carry my jacket. I want to throw it in there. Or my merch that I'm buying throughout the day. Hello.
So that's where we will. That's where we'll kind of say, be aware of this. Now, if you do need the big locker, then you might have to. You might have to pay for it, that $2. So I don't know if this is just a test or if this is going to stick for a long time, but regardless, it is happening. So please be aware of it. And like Ryno just said, be aware of it with what you buy in the park. There are some wand boxes that won't even fit in the large one unless you like turn it the right way. Yeah. So even with that, maybe utilize package pickup at the front of the parks, or if you're staying at the hotels, do that. In terms of if you can't fit everything in a small locker, your options, like I've said, are you can either pay for the new bigger lockers, you can pay for the all-day lockers at the front of the park that come in multiple sizes, and you can use that as a back and forth. So there's always that option too. If you have someone that's not going to ride a lot of the attractions, utilize them as the bag holder, everything, find them a nice bench to sit on and make sure they have everything, or utilize the rider swap option where someone can hold it while you go in, and trust me, Universal team members will accommodate you in that situation. If you can't fit your stuff in a locker, they will help you out. So it sucks, but it's the life we live in right now, so we'll have to deal with it, and hopefully changes come. Hopefully everyone's vocal in a positive way towards guest services. Not positive about the change, but, not yelling at them, calling them idiots for changing it. If you want to give feedback, absolutely reach out to Universal. You can write to their guest services. You can tweet at them, and they'll get in touch with the right areas too. You can make your voice heard in that way, and maybe something will come of it, but be polite about it. Everyone's just trying to do their jobs.
The person you're talking to isn't directly responsible for that change, but they can send it where it needs to go.
Exactly. That you said it very eloquently when I couldn't. So I appreciate you for that. But we're going to move on from this conversation and move into our in-park dining segment. So away we go. Out to Craig and Ryno in the field. We have made it to Universal Orlando. We are at Universal Studios Florida in particular for our plant-based food adventure tour.
Yes.
And so we're gonna try one plant-based food item, and then we're gonna go try another one. We're gonna start with the option that is available at Mel's. So
The chicken wannabe,
yeah, it's the chicken with an apostrophe and no E, and I'll be honest, it's my first time that I'm ever gonna have one of those weird chickens things. I've always avoided those.
I don't think I've had the chicken. I've had like the Impossible Burger,
Yeah.
not at Universal, but I've had an Impossible Burger. You know, vegetarian burgers, but not a one that's supposed to mimic chicken.
Yeah, so it's first for both of us, and we'll see if we like it. So let's head on over to Mel's. We have our vegan chicken sandwich here, chicken and avocado sandwich. It is fully vegan. So what's on top of it? Well, we have lettuce, we have tomatoes, we have pickles all hiding underneath that chicken without an E, and then vegan cheese and avocado on that bun, served with French fries. So it is it's actually probably the most appealing thing that I've ever seen that we've ordered from this place, believe it or not. But it's not just about what it looks like, it's about how it tastes. So I'm gonna cut through here just briefly, and then I'll I saw that. Yeah, fry hamburglar. I'm just gonna check both. Yeah, there's like no. This was really improperly cut.
Oh, I see.
So I apologize, but I'm gonna try to distribute. Oh, little fry over there. This is probably what is considered even. I am now just butchering this sandwich.
It's happening.
I'm trying to be fair, and my fairness is really going crazy.
My goodness. Can't decide if it's louder in here when there's people or it's empty.
I think when it's empty, there's a very harsh echo. So, now that I just ruined that, let's look at that. So, nice different in layers, textures. I'll be honest, that chicken does not look appealing. But I guess it's not chicken, so it's fine. Look, I'm going up in the world. I'm trying something new. Okay, I'm liking it on the first bite. My initial thought is, I can't believe it's not chicken. Yeah, I really can't believe it's not chicken. Also, the avocado, like, I'm pretty sure it comes from a bag. It's not fresh. But it's actually, it's not bad too, so. Slightly bland, I will say that. It feels like they're missing one ingredient to, like, take it up to the next level. But overall, so far, I'm actually okay with this. So, but I want you to try it now, Ryno.
The thing I'm more concerned about is the vegan cheese. I don't always like vegan cheese. Here we go. You know what I think it's missing? An onion.
Yes.
Like something that gives it a little crunch or just a little burst thing, because it's like we said, the avocado might be from a bag, but it's fine. It's good. The cheese is actually pretty good. I actually don't think it even needs the cheese.
Agreed.
I think get rid of the cheese, because the cheese flavor is very present. And just give me an onion. Give me a red onion. Just don't even cook it. Just raw red onion on here, I bet. It does, like, the texture of the chicken, it's pretty close. It's like as if, it's almost like after Thanksgiving and all the turkey's been cut and you've got like the extra like pieces that are around and you make the sandwich out of those. That's this kind of vibe I'm getting from this chicken, but it's pretty good. I mean, I see what you're saying where like the patty itself might be lacking a little bit of flavor, but This is better than that weird vegetarian thing I got the last time we came here. This is definitely like 10 steps above this. Like the bun is actually pretty good. It's nice and soft. Everything's warm. Nothing tastes like old or anything. It's actually pretty good. So I in the end, I actually enjoyed that sandwich quite a bit.
I did too.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just that I'm hungry. I don't know if that's the same for you, but I feel like I'd actually come back and eat that again if I felt like I needed something healthy-ish.
It tastes like, honestly, if you didn't know, you'd be like, oh, this tastes like maybe it's a ground chicken patty versus just being like a breast or something like that. So it does taste like it's got the best parts of the chicken, but that's good because it's not chicken.
I still didn't genuinely ever feel like it wasn't chicken. To me, I know it wasn't chicken, but it did taste like chicken to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't have I didn't even really taste any difference in the cheese. I have before. Oh, hey there. What's going on? Nothing? Just hanging out? Yeah, say hi to everyone. So for everyone listening right now, you're very confused. One of the creatures who lives under the sea.
SpongeBob's friends here.
Is, right behind me currently, and everyone who's watching this on video already understands it. And the fish loves you.
Yeah.
So,
on
and we love it
skates,
too. Yeah. Fish on roller skates.
Yeah.
Very fancy. So, bye.
You never know what's going to happen here.
Exactly. That was fun. Yeah, I thought everything was real. Did not realize it was all vegan. Like I did from the menu, but could not tell just by taste. So,
and we will say, we said it after too. You probably heard it in the video, but the atmosphere in here is a lot better when they're like blaring the best Christmas songs.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that was like $12.49 annual pass discount if you ask for it. So not a bad deal either. Comes with fries, and yep. So that's that. So we're gonna move over to our next.
Oh, there's another fish coming.
We're gonna move over to our next food stop at Richter's Burger, and there's the Impossible Burger over there. So let's go.
So we're inside of Richter Burger, in our favorite spot, the second floor, which was open today, and we got the Impossible Burger, which was described as follows: plant-based burger, follow your heart cheese, and veganese with fries. So the veganese being like a vegan mayonnaise, but this is the most naked Impossible Burger I've ever gotten, but that's because they have the toppings bar here. So you can get lettuce, tomato, onion, some pickies. Then you got your regular mayo, mustard, vinegar, what have you. But I feel like to start off, we should try just a regular basic bite of this fella here. So I'm gonna go in, first things first. I just touched this bun and it feels a little more stiff than the other one. Right there, okay. All right, so you can see, looks just like beef. Beef. A lot of that veganese on there. So. All right. First bite, you know why the veganese is like intensely garlic. There's a lot of that on there. The Impossible Burger patty is pretty good. This is not the best of the Impossible Burger patties I've had, though. It feels like it's the Impossible Burger, but cooked in the standard to which Universal cooks all their burgers. So I feel like it might be just like a little bit overcooked. It's not bad, just a little bit overcooked. I'm gonna load it up with some stuff, though, to spruce it up, because I do think with just the veganese cheese, the Follow Your Heart cheese and the veganese is not enough. I like to have a little tomato in there and some onions and give it a little more, little bit of stuff. One thing to note about the Impossible Burger is like the texture is very similar to meat, except it's got a little bit almost like, it's almost, I want to describe it as like crispy meat. But Craig, I'm gonna let you take a bite of this and let me know what you think of your naked Impossible Burger.
I'm not nearly as schooled with as you are in the Impossible Burgers, so this is only like my third or fourth one, maybe. I can't remember for sure, but this is how I take all of my burgers. I lie about it on the show normally. You know, I say that I like really interesting burgers, kicked up to the next level. No, I like some mayonnaise, I like some cheese, and just a patty.
You're basic.
Delicious. It's a way to eat everything. It's like your basic cheese sandwich as a kid, where it's just the bread, a piece of cheese, and some mayonnaise.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's a thing?
That's what happens when you're a picky eater as a kid.
Oh, God.
Could even be Miracle Whip. Think about that. So, I get what you're saying without the toppings. It is super garlicky. I am a garlic aficionado. I don't even know if that's the best way to say it. I'm one of those people that it's like, okay, well, what am I making tonight? Doesn't matter what, there's going to be garlic in it. Like, when I make omelets in the morning, I put so much garlic in it that I could probably kill a vampire all the way out in Transylvania. I know, come on, right? But, so all that being said, I'm still gonna add stuff on top of this, but I will reserve judgment in pulling it off because I really just like it how it is. It's super garlicky and mayonnaise-y, and the cheese is just kind of getting lost in it. But the Impossible Burger, I will say, I'm digging it, but I see where you're coming at with it. It feels like there wasn't a lot of justice done with it, but it's also not bad. But we'll keep eating. We'll toss it up and put toppings on, and we'll keep eating.
There it is. I just needed a little bit more texture in my burgers. Like, I'm not a plain burger person. I like to always have the lettuce, tomato, and onion in there. This is pretty good now.
Those are just for the eating.
Oh yeah, no, these are just for me. I love pickles. That's how I get all my sodium in the day. The good old dosage of pickles. So
Big old jar.
okay, so I might have a few stray onions in there, but I did the lettuce, the tomato, and then I ate pickles on the side. We'll see if I am happy with my choices. I don't want to tell you you're right. But you're right, it does add a little bit more once you get the extra flavors and textures in. I'm very happy right now, though. I think we should finish up, and we'll fill you in when we're all finished. Ryno, where did you land on the Impossible Burger by the time we were finished?
I said when we were done, it's funny how the vegan food is better than the regular food at both of the places we went to today. In my opinion, like, unless you're like somebody who's like the aficionado, like to use one of Craig's favorite words, unless you're an aficionado of the Impossible Burger, I honestly don't think you're gonna be like, oh, this is different than whatever. It was an Impossible Burger cooked to the theme park standard of the burgers, and it was good. I liked it a lot. That veganaise on there was really good. I thought the cheese in this one definitely blended a lot better. It stood out a little bit more in the chicken, but I would get this again.
Yeah, I say that. Well, I do agree with you that I think their vegan options are better than their regular options. I dare say that this may end up becoming one of my go-to meals when I'm here is the Impossible Burger. I thought that veganaise it was good. Made it really delicious. And on top of it, like, I wish I could take the veganaise over to Mel's and put it on the chicken. With that avocado, I think that would just be out of this world.
Without the cheese, put the veganaise on it. You got yourself a hit.
I might just ask for the veganaise regardless of what I get anywhere. If they have it, I want veganaise. I'm all for it.
Cook the dip in the French fries.
So Yeah, I think we have our answer there. Both of these are good options.
And the best part is too, they really weren't more than the other options. I mean, this was $11 something with the annual pass holder discount.
It was $12.49 regular again. So
I felt like I thought that for a theme park price of what we got what we paid. We're like, that was good.
Yeah, we got what we paid for plus a little bit more, I'd say. I'm very happy with it. There is still a lot more vegan, plant-based foods around Universal that they added. I know there's like a pasta one over in whatchamacallit in New York here. Why can't I think of the name? Louis.
Yeah.
over in Louis. It's like literally right in front of me with where we're standing right now. I can't think of the name. But yeah, there are still a whole lot more things for us to try in this realm. So until we run out of them, we're going to keep eating them. So that's it for right now, but we're going to send it back to Craig and Ryno in the studio. Ryno, how do we always have such a great time?
I just don't even know.
Good. Excellent.
It's weird how my hair is a lot shorter because I got a haircut between then and now.
That's the second time this happened recently.
Apparently, I have this like tuning fork about knowing when we're going to go to a park. And I'm like, ooh, better shave the side of my head.
It's perfect. Wonderful, wonderful. So thank you so much for going out into the park with me and experience some food. And thank you to everyone out there who listened and watched to this episode. So that's going to do it for this one. But in the meantime, if you need more information, head out to disunplug.com, and that's where you can get all that information that you need to. Links to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our email address, uopodcast@disunplugged.com. Then, as always, you can subscribe to us here on YouTube so you can keep up to date with all the videos that we release, and make sure you're leaving comments down below and you're hitting that thumbs up button. And if you're listening to this on iTunes, of course, make sure you're subscribed there too. Rate and review us. We do appreciate it. And just as a reminder, once again, we will be back next week with our last episode of the year, and then we will be on hiatus. So, so thank you very much to everyone out there for listening and watching. We hope you appreciated and enjoyed this episode. We'll be back with you next week for our last episode of the year of the Unplugged Universal Edition. But until then, remember, we still have not changed the name.